Hey everyone, welcome to Infinite Realms. Today we are going to unbox and review the Martell Starter set for A Song of Ice and Fire, the miniatures war game. And this is the first time I've ever tried to do a unboxing on camera, so this should be interesting. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it yet. So you're going to probably be rolling your eyes a little bit at me. Song of Ice and Fire war game. It's a lot of fun. If you've not played it, give it a shot. It's real simple rules. Nothing really complicated. A few minor, well, I won't say there's no complications, but there's enough there to interest people who have played war games before, and it's simple while complex. I know that sounds weird, but trust me, that's what it does. Okay, so let's get this cracking open then. Okay, alrighty then. Okay, so I've had to set my mic in a different position than normal. We're going to try this out and see what happens. But, got out the old scissors to cut this. And the reason being is because I kind of got to use both hands. And normally, I am sitting in a different position when I do reviews. So, yeah. And that'll take care of that. Rip off the plastic. And of course, trying to reach over the camera isn't helping. Yeah, like I said, I've never done an unboxing in front of a camera, so yeah, I'm having a fun time. Oh Lord, that's on there tight. Alrighty. There we go. Now then, of course, your tactics board, which we fully expect. Online exclusive content. I'm sure it's nothing. And then your game components, of course. Rulebook. New rulebook. Now, of course, anyone who's played the game should be familiar with these. This is your terrain. I've seen people on message boards really complain about this because it's not, it's not 3D terrain, but if you've played the game and you've dealt with the trays, you understand why it's flat terrain. I've played it a few times with 3D terrain, and oh boy, does that increase the level of difficulty. But, yeah. Alright, so here we are with our cards. And of course, these cards. And the new objective cards. And dice. Now, I'm going to take these out and see how they roll. So, excuse me while I do this behind the camera. And undo the Ziploc bag because I don't want to get embarrassed. I find different dice do roll better. My Baratheon dice are the worst I've ever tried to roll. I always get bad numbers with them. Nightwatch dice do really good. The best I got was a 5. I got a 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. Let's give it another shot. I'll pick up that one that dropped in a second. Well, that didn't do too bad. I got a 6, a 4, and a couple of 1s. And of course, here we go with the Martell dice. I'm not sure how well that can be seen. Nice red on orange. You wouldn't think those two colors would go together, but yeah, they kind of do. Now, of course, here are the trays, as you'd expect. It's all very rudimentary stuff, because now we get to the fun part. The minis. Or at least my favorite part. And yeah, we got some tape in the way here, but we'll get around that. Give me just a moment. Okay, yeah, so I had to do some cutting, but I've got these guys free now. And the hard part is looking at them without knocking them out. And here you go. Those are the minis. And they look good. Man, they look good. Now we're going to get better looks. I'm going to give you better looks at them on the spinner here in a minute. But I do like the way they're packed in there. Yeah, this is awesome. Okay, so now let's get to the review portion. What I was going to do, I'll just put these on the spinner, and then we'll start reviewing the abilities and stuff. Okay, a little bit more back to normal. So let's start off with the minis, and let's take a look at the Martell Spearmen. I really kind of like these sculpts. I think they're really good, and they look like they're going to be fun to paint. And I don't think I'm going to go too far from the actual art on these. They seem to just fit perfectly like that. A nice little 5-point army, and of course they have set for charge and tactical reposition. Tactical reposition is good. Not so great on defense with a 5. They're just okay on hit with 4. But they got some good speed. Well, yeah, they're about average speed too. So it's kind of your average unit. So, nothing spectacular here. I mean, mostly it's just the minis on this one, I think. That kind of sells it, is the selling point. So let's move on to the dervishes. Sculpt wise, I'm a little less impressed by these because, it's just guys with. I mean, dervish seems to be somebody with two curved blades. These guys have more knives than swords. I think some might argue it's a short sword. It looks like a knife to me. It looks a little too short for a short sword. Now, as a unit, they move pretty quick, 6. They got better defense at 4, and they got better to hit at 4. So, that's all a plus, at least. And of course, they have an order to swift retreat. They also have precision, which is a good power. It does help. And elusive escape. So, those things all help out when you're trying to get away from an attack. And kind of fits into what I'm seeing the Martells kind of shape up into. They're kind of sort of a hit and run kind of faction. Their defenses is not that great, so that's what they got to do, and they got to be really swift to do it. So that's kind of how I'm seeing this unfold. Now we get to the skirmishers. Of course, they're pretty swift at 6. I mean, they're faster than some cavalry units, except the cavalry units can go twice as long. Their to hit is really good at 3 with their bows. Of course, they're short range. 4 defense is not bad. Again, that morale isn't so great. And they got order quick fire, and which means they can perform a range attack after a maneuver, which is a good thing. So yeah, those are pretty interesting units. I'm not too enamored by the spearmen though. I'm probably gonna not put a whole lot of armies around the spearmen. I thought they would be a little better, to be perfectly honest. The other 2 are pretty all right, and we'll see. You know, I've got some more. I've got the Royal Guard coming, and we'll see how that looks, and then see how I think I may be building my armies. But of course, with armies come your attachments, and let's see. In here we have a spearman captain, and they have an order that can weaken an enemy target. So might be okay to toss one of those on, just in case, you know. And then the sculpture looks really good. So then the dervish captain, you know, they target them with a morale test. If they fail it, boom, they lose all abilities for the round. Now that could be good if you have like a low morale group. I mean, you know that unit has low morale, just target them, boom. You know, because usually a low morale group might have something really spectacular. And then any units engaged with the one that has a dervish captain suffers -1 to hit. So then we get to the stars of the box. Always the stars of the box. The actual characters. And let me still start it off with Ilaria Sand, who did not fare so well in those TV series, but so far in the book she's doing a lot better and is a lot smarter, which is important. And she's got a really fun charm ability. You know, she can remove a condition if she's controlling the free attack. You can target 2 enemy units at long range and place a 1 condition token on each of them. So, basically you can trade condition tokens. So the next NPC is Dorian Martell. Again, someone who did not fare too well in the show. He's faring better in the books. And, you know, he's known for playing the long game. And some argue playing too long of a game. And I think that's what they were trying to portray in the show, that he played too long of a game and got killed by his own people. But I don't think it came across that well. But anyway, Dorian is still alive in the books. And he still has a plan. He's still pushing his plan into motion. So we'll see how that plays out. And so, you know, he has this fun ability, you know, to claim certain zones in certain rounds. If he has 4, you know, in doing so, he gains order tokens. If he has 4 order tokens, he gets 2 victory points. Well, that's a perfect one for Dorian Martell. I like it. It fits his character and fits him well. And I like the sculpt too. I mean, you know, what, this guy with gout? You like the sculpt? You like the miniature? Yes, I do, because it suits him perfectly. All right. I've never been able to get this guy's name and figure out how to pronounce it, because I suck at enunciation of English, let alone any other language. Area Hota, I think is it. I don't know. I did notice on his, you know, we're talking about some commanders now. So, yeah, I do like the tactics cards that came with the Martells. They're kind of like using the environment in somewhat of sneak attacks and stuff like that. And in a way, it seems to be almost Lannisters and free folk combined. It's kind of weird, but it works. And I like it. And I think this might be what I had hoped the Greyjoys would have been when I first saw the starter set. This is kind of shaping up to be a little better, but Ario, and I know I'm butchering his name. He's got coordinated assault, which means when charging deals +1 hit per each remaining rank in the unit. I love that. And furious charge. Enemies successfully charged by this unit become vulnerable. And of course, duty to the crown. When you pass a morale test, you restore a wound. If the crown is controlled, another wound. Now, just as an attachment, he's got a couple of orders. You can discard 2 tactics card and from your tactic decks for any 1 card and add it to your hand. I mean, you got plenty of other guys that can do that. And I found that not to be very effective. I usually get another crappy card. Especially if I got crappy cards. You can target 1 enemy in line of sight in long range. They become vulnerable. I do like that. But I really think Ario Commander might be a little better now. Oberyn Martell, who's, my favorite Martell, even though he's dead and he didn't fare too well. But at least now Pedro Pascal has learned to keep his helmet on. Good job. He's got Manticore Venom once per game. This unit completes a melee attack after the Manticore Venom poison card and the defender on the defender until they are destroyed. That's a pretty good one. It wears them down. When attacking enemies that have not activated this round, the defender becomes vulnerable and weakened. So that's a good one to have. But Oberyn does have, the poison one is kind of a one to get Oberyn as a commander. That's a good one to have. Now, you still, as an attachment, you still retain Viper's Fangs, which to me is a worthy ability to have. But you also have Expert Duelist. And, yeah, I gotta admit, Expert Duelist is one of my favorite abilities. And very few characters have it. I know Jaime Lannister in the Knights Guard has it. I thought there was someone else, but I can't remember who. But it is one of those abilities I really, really like to have in an army, just because it's that, you just lost all your attachments' powers. Even better when it's commander. It's just, whoops. Yeah, just killed your commander. I've never actually done that, but it's fun to have just in case. You never know. Okay, so that's the Martell starter set. I'll be honest, the only starter set I've ever been disappointed in this game was the Baratheon one. Mostly because that one, where it was 2 factions in one, kind of 2 sub-factions, didn't give you enough to work with one or the other. And then the disappointing rollout of all the units just took forever for that army to build up. And now that they have, it's kind of like, well, I mean, there are aspects of that army I like, aspects I don't. And then, meantime, the Targaryens are building up massively. And then we get the Greyjoys. Greyjoys, they were built up in no time. So, that, I want to kind of see how the Martells build up and see how they look. But so far, I'm pretty happy with them. My only mild complaint is the Spearmen. I just think they should have had a better defense. That's really it. I just think they should have had a better defense. I mean, they got spears. They can put some distance between them and most fighters. So that should give them at least an additional 1 or something. But I'm not going to argue it necessarily, Like I said, I have the other units coming, or the Royal Guard unit coming soon. And we'll see what else comes out. I know there's some rumors and speculation, but at the very least, we'll know something soon, I think. And of course, the Martell Heroes 1 set is coming out with that Royal Guard set. So, should see a little bit of something from the Martells soon. As for this box set, I love it. I love it. 5 stars again. I generally love the starter sets. It's kind of bare bones, but it gives you pretty good ideas of what this force is going to look like and how they're going to shape up. And then you can kind of decide what you want to do. And it all depends on your playstyle, of course. So, anyway, that's going to wrap it up for Infinite Realms. 5 stars once again, Simon. You sucked me into another faction. My poor wallet. Everyone have a good day.